Welcome back, everyone, to our Let's Play series of Motorsport Manager. So we're coming off of yet another great race, and we have further extended our championship lead, and we're down to the final two events. We're ready for event number 9 in the season at Vancouver, and then we'll have the finale at DOHA. So things are looking really good in our championship, both in the driver and the team championship. My goal at this point is to get car number 2 to second in the driver championship, so we can go 1-2 there as well. So that is, everything is really looking according to plan for this season. We've done quite a bit of work to this point on our HQ, and we've now gotten to the point where we have some really great staff through our designer, and now our race mechanics are both very good at this point. We're starting to improve on our driver lineup, but of course that's very costly, so we're trying to do that a little bit at a time. And I think we're finally ready to make that push into the A class. Let's go ahead and work through some of these wonderful emails. Another good weekend by the pit crew. No mistakes, and that's what it's all about. Let's do our interview. So let's see, what do we have? So, okay, Parisi demolished the competition with a gap of about 10.7. Do you think it's becoming too predictable? Again, this is not... They should have fixed this a long time ago, because that's not what happened. That is not B class. I think I'm pretty sure of how this happened from a developer perspective, and where they're pulling these these variables in from. Parisi, I'm sure, won the race, but that's A class car, not B class. So that part should have been fixed a long time ago. But alas, that's never going to happen. And let's go into our pit crew. Let's see what we got available for hire here. Anybody that is really good. 0.4 is a little bit higher than I want to deal with at this point, so we'll immediately reject those. Now this is a different story. 19, 17. Okay, that's pretty good. The 0.1 is, just something I think I'm going to have to learn just to deal with. I do like, this is a very good all-around person, so I think I want to hire them. But first, before I'll know that for sure, maybe if I can do it. All right, let's go ahead and let's see. Let's go ahead and swap everybody out. Wow, it is just amazing to me how badly it does this. All right, so there we go. And so yeah, our pit crew is coming along quite nicely. Let's see, where are all our folks that are fresh? Yikes. Interesting. So we don't have any. All right, let's look and see who we want to get rid of out of this bunch. I think at this point, all right, we can get rid of this person because I was keeping them around primarily for that. Let's go ahead and get rid of them. Okay, let's come back over and let's decide, who do I want to hire? I really think this is the better choice overall. Although, I mean, this is certainly not a bad choice, and we're going to reject this one. Okay. Let's go ahead and hire that person. And now we'll come back over and see where we want to put them in. So we know we're going to swap them out. The question is, where? And that is a good problem to have. All right, so I'm thinking we're going to go right there. And I believe we could swap out there. Okay, so we end up pretty good overall, but we'll still continue to work through some of this and hire better people as time goes on. Okay, let's go ahead and continue on, get our car repair done. And we don't have any new parts or anything like that to work on, so we'll just keep right on going. And now we're about to have our tour center done. So if you're not familiar with that, our tour center, which is right over there. There we go. Zoom in over here and see what we got. Okay, so it's going to give us $80,000 per race. Of course, it's going to take us roughly 2 seasons just to recoup the cost that we're spending on this. But this is really sort of a gateway building to some buildings that we're going to get to in the future. How distant future, we'll have to see. I can't remember how much either one of these cost. But it's one of those things we'll get to in the future, and it can really help us out a lot with income on the team, because once we get to A class, it is going to be substantially more expensive than what it is right now in the B class, which is one of the reasons why I have not been in a huge hurry to get there. Okay, we got refueling. So these guys just can't decide what they want to do with refueling. Okay, so it looks like that what they want to do is go back to the way it was before this season, and where you can do 2 stops, or what they're saying is guarantee it make at least 3 pit stops. Well, we were making 2 stops on that. And okay, so apparently everybody likes that. They're going to go back to it. And for us, we are building up quite a nice amount of voting power for the future. All right, right now we just don't want to have any huge issues come up with our drivers that decrease their abilities. I saw a couple of emails about drivers. Okay, good. Marketability increased, clothing line. And snowmobile racing, more adaptability, more marketability. Okay, I can live with those. And Hannah would like to have a test track. Yes, that is going to be a huge piece in the future, because as you can imagine, having a strong engine is paramount in racing. So we're definitely going to need to get to that. Okay. All right, so it is time to race. Let's go ahead and we'll get and again, we're just going to go this first in class, and hopefully we can get at least one of the 2, qualifying and or race. All right, so here we've been just going 5, 5, and 5, which seems to be working pretty good. Again, there's a lot more tires here than you actually end up needing, but I think this is a pretty good mixture. Keeps it pretty simple. All right, fit parts. There shouldn't be any issues there, but because we're already here, let's take a quick glance and make sure nothing funny has happened. And sure enough, everything looks good. Let's head to the track. All right, practice and qualifying are now done, and unfortunately, qualifying didn't go so well. We will be starting second with car 1, but car number 2 is starting well down in the field, and they were way off the pace, something like a half second off the lead. It was a lot. It was a lot, especially considering we've been doing a lot of 1-2 finishes, 1-3 finishes in qualifying. So car number 2 was well off the pace, which was very surprising to me. The knowledge bonuses, race trim bonuses, refueling, and then the tire bonus for car number 2. And our setups came out great. The starting fuel. This is where we're going to have to make some changes. Normally I do this before I start recording, but I wanted to show you guys a little bit about how I do this time. So we're going to have the fuel options are 26 laps. And then I simply come in here and see what is going to line up best with that. Well, I had gotten the bonus. So we've got 2 choices here. I could go super softs because it says 34 to 36 laps. Unfortunately, we won't get that many out of it. I usually count on at least 2 or 3 fewer than what it shows. So I'm actually going to go with the soft tires. That's what I got the bonuses for in the practice session. And I could split up the tires, but I just don't feel comfortable enough about doing that here. So I'm going to go soft tires, and that will match up and should give us more tire than what we need for the fuel we have on board. Same thing for car 2. we'll go under the fuel. Again, max fuel 26. And we could do this because Petra she's so smooth and does a great job on long runs. But because we have the 15% performance increase on the soft tires, I'm going to go ahead and go that route. Okay, so there's our strategy. Soft tires for everyone. And we're going to go 3-stop strategy for both cars. That's the plan. But of course, any weather that pops up could definitely change that. And now, I think it's time to head to the race. All right, let's get our camera all set. Where are we here? That's the way we need to be. So there you can see just how far down the grid Petra is going to be starting. We're going to start out pushing the tires. But of course, we will not be pushing the engine. All right, so it's not all that stressful now. We have a huge lead in the championship, and counting this race, there's only 2 races remaining, so I'm not terribly worried about it. But as always, this is about having fun and going as fast as we can. So, I mean, yeah, there's no reason for us to back down now. We're having way too much fun not to. Okay, so full attack mode here for Petra. All right, now we need to back down. And oh look, our best friend, the driver mistakes at turn 1 at Vancouver. I don't think we can get through. It seems like we can hardly get through 2 laps at this track without making a mistake with at least one of our drivers at that corner. All right, so not bad on the start, I must say. We're holding our own here at the front of the grid with car 1, and then, of course, Petra with car 2 has made up some spots. So that's good. We'll now back off a little bit and try to reach our pace and try to run to our pace. You can see, I mean, we've got ultra tires here. Those will certainly not be an issue for us to deal with over the long term. And with our 3-stop strategy, aside from any weather circumstances, I think we're going to be in good shape for some good finishes here as well. And as always, our goal is to win the race with at least one of the cars. It doesn't particularly matter to me which car wins the race, just as long as we get to victory lane and can take that top spot on the podium. All right, so we're going to run our race. All right, Petra's tires are starting to drop a little bit of tire heat. So let's go back to pushing with her a little bit. Again, I'm going to still try to take care of these tires. And then at the end of the first stint here, we'll see how much tire is left based on the fuel we have. But for now, let's not get ahead of ourselves and hurt the tires too badly. We've got plenty of stamina for both drivers, so that is not going to be an issue, but it will be with some of the other drivers that we'll put in the car. Okay, so Petra has done a very nice job getting herself up much higher in the running order than she started. Okay, let's go ahead and back off here. We already know Hannah does not do as good a job with the tires as Petra does. She's much harder on the tire. Of course, right now, Petra has, at this point, she had a driver mistake, which hurts the tire, and she was also in full attack mode at the beginning of the race, so that's why she's a little bit lower, but you can see it's still pretty close. We're at 58 and 55. So one of the benefits of having a smooth and consistent driver is that you can actually press harder with them without hurting the tires as much. Okay, let's go ahead and push some more, and let's take a look at what everybody else is doing with their strategy right now. All right, so we've got second position was in the blue on the engine, but now they're just going full attack mode right now. Okay, so not bad. All right, let's back off for both cars before we get the tires too hot. All right, so right now I am pretty happy with where things are. The leader. Okay, we're going to need to make stops here shortly. So I'll tell you what, I think I'm going to make our first pit stop this time by, and you can see we didn't make it the full distance we needed to make it here. So that tells me that I'm going to have to really back off on the fuel and go down into the blue mode and try to make it last. Tires were a complete non-issue, so we don't have to worry about that. All right, let's go ahead and move that down to the blue now. And you can see we had 45% left on the tire. So we're actually going to have her go into complete attack mode and go down into the blue on fuel just to set it up for our pit stop. All right, so pit stop number 1 in effect. All right, we got Petra again on full attack mode. Okay, and we're going to have her attack all the way up until her pit stop here. Okay, fuel options, fill it up, and so on. All right, so now that Petra is there, okay, we'll go back to neutral for her. All right, now Sophia is pushing right now and in the blue for fuel, so we're going to ride this out for a little while. Okay, we're going to back off there. Let's go ahead and push with car 2. Okay, so you see a lot of super softs here, which would definitely not be a bad call. I'm sticking with the soft tire just to make sure that I can push as much as I want with the tire without having to worry about the wear on it. Okay, let's take a look at the weather. So far, so good. No issues appear to be forthcoming there. All right, let's see what everybody is up to. Really, nobody's much using the blue mode on the engine. So it looks like we're going to get a lot of 4-stop strategies. Okay, let's go back to pushing on both cars. Again, trying to get as much speed out of the car as we can while maintaining that fuel savings mode. And I'm in all likelihood going to use the blue mode for nearly this entire stint, because we were so short on the stint this last time by, about 3-4 minutes on car 1, something along those lines. By the time they actually got to the pits, it might have been a little less. But I want to make sure that we get plenty of time in on this stint to make up for that. All right, but again, right now, I am very happy with where we are as a team. I look at the tire wear that these guys are getting, and that's telling me that the chances of them making it on a 3-stop strategy are very, very low, because they are running through these tires. And you can see that's going to be the case looking all the way back through the grid. So that makes me very happy about where we are. It's also why these type of races, as opposed to NASCAR, these type of races, you never really know where you stand ultimately until you get down toward the end of the race and everybody's strategy has been revealed. Because you might be well back in the field in the running order at different parts of the race, but not realize that actually you're in great shape. Okay, let's go back to pushing with both cars. All right, so we're at 35 minutes now on car 1, and I'm trying to keep a tab on how far we're going to be able to go. Are we going to be able to do a 3-stop strategy? It may be that we're simply not going to be able to. All right, so I expect to see a lot of cars in the pits over the next lap or so, because we got a lot of worn tires out there. All right, there we go. Lots of pit stops happening. So a 3-stop strategy would have you pitting at an hour and a half remaining. So that's a good bit of time left. I mean, we've been on the blue mode the entire time, and I don't think we're going to make it that far. It's going to be extremely close. I mean, extremely close. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and try to come in, not this time by, but next time by. Let's see, can I get by with that? I'm trying to look at both cars here and see if I can do that. Actually, yeah, I can get by with one more lap here, and that's what I was trying to see if I could do. Again, everything possible to try to make up. So we're a couple of minutes short there. We've made that up here. And, of course, by the time we get back around to finish up this lap, it'll be even better. And that makes me feel better about the end of the race, getting the car back to Hannah and making that final run. But we're going to have to keep it in the blue, there's no doubt, in order to make that happen and ensure that we have enough fuel. Okay, here we go. All right, there we go. Pit stop initiated. Let's go back over to car 2. And we'll initiate their pit stop next time by. So we're pushing the limits for sure of what these guys can do on their stamina. But that's okay with me because, you know, again, we're trying to make this strategy work. And if this is what it takes to make it work, then this is what it takes. Okay, let's go ahead and back off car 1. And I'm not going to be pushing very much with car 2 because, again, we got stamina issues there. So I'm going to try to push as little as possible with him to ensure we can get to that 45-minute mark. But I won't worry so much about that with Lee in car 1 because he's got lots of stamina. But still, very good from what I'm seeing. And again, you can see the tire wear that these guys are showing make it very clear that they're not looking at a 3-stop strategy here. That and the amount of fuel they're using. Looks like they're going 4-stop strategy. So yeah, that's the downside of using such a small fuel tank, is that it really hurts the performance, the speed out of the car. You know, the cars just can't go as fast because they have to maintain as much fuel to go the number of stints they need to go and finish the race. Okay, let's back off to conserve and push a little bit on car 2. So these soft tires definitely don't have the speed of the super softs, but I must admit it is fun to be able to manage them and not have to worry so much about the tire wearing out before the fuel is gone. All right. Again, things are lining up quite nicely for us. Tire wear is looking great compared to our fuel, and I think we're going to be in good shape to finish this on one more stop for each car. Particularly for car number 2, because we know Petra's going back in the car for that final stint, and we know that we're in good shape with her. Them being the last of the 2 cars to pit, then they look to be the best overall. Let's see, let's go ahead and push just a little bit with car 2. Okay, more pit stops happening. Trying to get all of this stamina out, trying to make the best use of the stamina for car 2, and it's going to be close trying to get to 45 minutes in this stint. Alright, so we are up to first and third at this point, and yeah, it looks fairly certain that nobody is attempting to do this except for us on 3 stops. Alright, so we've reached the 45-minute mark remaining in the race, so now it's time to start looking at our final stint. So we're past the point of having to worry about car number 2. Alright, excellent. So let's go ahead and come in next time by. We're going to put Hannah back in the car, and the tire choice will be once again the soft tires, and fill it up. Okay, good. So now we'll swap over to car 2. And we'll line up their pit stop and turn it back over to Petra. All right, pit stop underway. So far, so good. Excellent. The timing was perfect there on that stop. All right, actually we can go to back up to the medium mode here because we need about 37, 38 minutes out of the fuel, and we were able to get about 41 to 42 minutes in the first stint out of the fuel. So, and that was using the medium mode on engine. All right, so here's the good news for us. Right now, we are sitting here in second position with car 1, but we already know that the leader, as well as the 2 cars behind us, are going to have to come in for another stop. So we can simply just cruise this on out. In fact, let's go back up to medium mode. I tell you what, let's go back down to low. We don't really have any reason to push right now with car 1. Car 2, we're going to go ahead and push some because we want to get the highest finishing position, even though these guys are going to pit. Remember, they're going to put on fresh tires and they're going to be coming extremely hard. So we're going to try to get as much speed as we can out of that car. But yeah, both cars are going to be perfectly fine to make it from here. All right, now we'll see the pit stops should be starting over the next couple of laps. I would expect to see third place in probably this next time by. Yep, there they go. All right, so there we go. So see, they're very close to car number 2, but they're going to have the tires on so they can go as hard as they want. So we're going to lose that spot. But then we've got, there we go, some more pit stops happening ahead, and we'll see how that all lines up. Okay, so we're going to end up with what should be a decent finish for car 2 here. I know we're going to lose at least one spot there, but we should be able to hopefully maintain a top 4 finishing position, I would say. And top 4, top 5, any of those are perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and go into high mode. Again, not worried about car number 1. We have a nice cushiony lead for them. let's take a look at where we are, because we've got a car coming at us from behind, about 5 seconds back. So let's go ahead and push. We're going to try to defend this position. They don't seem to be gaining a whole lot on us right now, but we know that can change very quickly. We got about 2 minutes remaining in the race. And yep, they're still about 5 seconds behind. So it looks like we are in great shape here. All right, so race is going to be ending the next time we come by. So there is the victory with car number 1. And we'll bring home a 4th place with car number 2. So not bad at all. So again, in case you're wondering, Lancaster is right here. They'll come home in 2nd, and then, oh, I didn't get to see where their 2nd car was. I missed that one. But 1st and 4th will definitely, oh, there's their 2nd car right there, in fact, at the very bottom. That's definitely not going to help them any. So right now they're using the strategy we had been using in years past, where you get your number 1 car as competitive as possible and don't spend a lot of time worrying about car number 2. All right, so we'll bring home 2 spots on the podium, 1st and 3rd, which is huge from a points perspective. And now you can see we are 1 and 2 in the driver championship. Excellent. By only a couple of points, but boy, that's a surefire sign that you are dominating a championship. So now we are all set. We have a 70-point lead going into the final race of the season, and even though we're not going to run it this way, we have already clinched here. There is no shot for them to catch us, because if they, with the double point, sweep the top 2 spots on the podium, they will get 36 points, assuming we don't get any points at all. So yeah, they're nowhere near going to catch us. All right, so let's go through these final couple of screens and see where we ended up on the money. The money is not going to be near as good as we wanted because of the qualifying not reaching our goal. Okay, so Lee had the best driver form. The other 2 were not near as good as we need them to be. We have a new unlock. That means that we've reached unlock number 2 for the crew chiefs. Okay, very good here for Tang. And the other 2 not all that good. But, you know, he just refuses to be happy. He's not going to be happy regardless of what happens. He could win the championship, and he doesn't care. All right, so we lose 1.8 million. Again, that's not really a big deal for us because, well, we've already saved up plenty of money to do that. All right, so we find our way back to the main menu. Another very successful race, coming home on the podium 1st and 3rd. So thank you very much for joining me, and we'll come back next time for our final event of the season at DOHA.